Delving deeply into both science and Torah is important for building unshakable conviction. When I was actively researching dark matter as an astrophysics PhD candidate, I used a similar technique to build my confidence and mastery. This unscripted deep dive into my recent Devar Torah is for those looking to build confidence in their religious convictions. If you haven't already watched the 3.5 minute video, click on the info card or link in the description. And then when you finish watching, come back to watch this deep analysis that has changed the lives of so many struggling to maintain the true path in today's overwhelming society. You're living with an identity crisis so fundamental, you don't even perceive that it exists. Right now, over 99.9% of you is empty space, yet you feel completely solid and distinct from the screen you're watching. If you take an atom, like just a straight up hydrogen atom, and you expand the average electron orbital to the size of the Earth, the nucleus only takes up the size of a football field. So almost everything's empty space. And the reason why things don't go through is there's a repulsion of the electrons. So it was too much to include everything in this. So I just focused on the bosons, which have this ability to condense in a special way, which we're going to get to now. The reason? Matter particles cannot occupy identical quantum states. But in 1995, everything changed when physicists discovered something impossible. A Bose-Einstein condensate where distinct bosons were merged into a single unified quantum state. So I forgot to mention in the video that, because I said Nobel Prize in the title, but the Nobel Prize was awarded in 2001, which is pretty quick, only 6 years later. The way that they accomplished this, they're going to show a little visual later, it had to do with lasers and Doppler shift. It's pretty cool. It's beyond the scope of this, but it's a really fascinating way they cooled these things down to nanokelvins, fractions, tiny fractions of a degree above absolute zero, because quantum particles on the quantum scale have a lot of jittering. They're like ADHD. So they're jittering all over the place. And how do you cool them down? And if you cool down bosons enough, they'll eventually act like one giant atom with one wave function. But if you heat them back up, they'll go back to acting distinct. Now, what is this like? This is like the idea of the higher unity and lower unity. Or as we say, Hashem Elokeinu Hashem Echad in Shema. Shema Yisrael, Hashem Elokeinu Hashem Echad. Hear, Israel, Elokeinu, our God, is our eternal, is our Yud Kei Vav Kei. And then Yud Kei Vav Kei is one. So Elokim or Elokeinu deals with restriction and veiling, it's like to veil, to cover over, and has the same gematria. Elokim has the same gematria, numerical value, as Hateva, the nature. So Elokeinu is like the God of nature. Some might call that Spinoza. And then Hashem, Yud Kei Vav Kei, the eternal name, that's transcendent. That's much higher. And that's, so from that vantage point of Hashem Echad, where everything is one, and I think Veschan and I did a video on this, but I did it in terms of photons. But anyway, how you can have a unity, how everything can be one in a higher vantage point. There's no past, present, future. There's no space. Just everything is one. But then simultaneously having distinct things. I have a microphone, I have a beard, I have glasses, I have a yarmulke, right? I have my cup of water, l'chaim. I already said the bracha before, don't worry. And otherwise I just would have paused it. So these are all separate things. So how can you have this total unity of separate things? So you see an example of this, seemingly to be like a paradox or a contradiction, show itself in the Bose-Einstein condensate. Scientists thought they had achieved the ultimate breakthrough, yet 3,600 years ago, this fundamental law was first violated at the holiest location on Earth. So I like to do that in my videos to show that what we're finding now in science, especially in physics, but in broader areas of science as well, was already predated in the Torah. And since the Torah is the blueprint of the world and everything stems from there, it's natural to see how what we're finding now is a reflection of the spiritual truth. It says God looked into the Torah and created the world. So my mission with these Devar Torahs, Divrei Torah, is to find examples, and there's a lot of them, where something in the physical is rooted in the spiritual. So here's one.
The Temple Mount holds secrets that predate the Beis Hamikdash itself. When Jacob rested there, Rashi describes stones quarreling under Jacob's head. Upon me, let the...
Please like, subscribe, and hit the bell. I know it's like, what does it matter? It actually matters. It actually matters. I'm an analytical guy. I studied the analytics. I listen to other people study analytics. I actually think a bunch of the advice out there is wrong. For those that are interested in getting started with YouTube, let me know. I'm actually helping a few people right now. I was talking to someone else recently, actually, who wants to get started, and we had a whole conversation, and he's like, I didn't realize how much goes behind it, just from a purpose and driven point of view. But getting to the nitty gritty, actually hitting like and subscribe really does help.
The righteous one rest. The stone's egotistical behavior is the spiritual source of quantum exclusion, as each particle demands its own unique state. By morning, their merger through self-nullification dissolve both their physical boundaries and their separate identities.
So you had this similar idea, quantum states can include position. So all the stones, which were 12 separate stones, merged into one. So that's literally just like a Bose-Einstein condensate. I think it's pretty cool. It's a very, very similar concept.
In Or Torah, the Tzemach Tzedek explains the stones represent the letters of creation, and how this conflict embodied the refinement of the fallen sparks.
So the fallen sparks are when Hashem first created the world, it was a world of tohu, and nothing could really get along. And then they shattered the vessels of tikkun, and then all these sparks fell down. It's like a video game. You know, people say the world's like a simulation. Really, I think a video game is a better way to say it, because we have a mission. It's not just arbitrary. Because if it's just a simulation, what's the point? But there is a point. Hashem created the world with a purpose. He wants a dwelling in the lowest realm, and he wants us to find these sparks. Some of the sparks inside of us are animal, our nefesh bahamis, our animal soul, our body. We need to refine them. But refining our character traits, being nicer to others, all those self-refinement is actually refining those sparks. But then we have other outward sparks, saying a spark that falls into an apple. If I say a blessing on the apple, B'rei Priya 8, and I use the energy that I get, the calories and the nutrients from the apple to do good things, to do holy things, I'm now refining those sparks, the whole reason why they fell. So here, Tzemach Tzedek was connecting the stones into the letters, and that the whole Indian, the whole idea there was that refining the sparks leads to this concept I'm about to get to of the world of unity and the world of separation. And these worlds are reflected in what I spoke about earlier about the unities.
To elevate them from the world of separation to the world of unity. When the stones nullified themselves to the tzaddik, they accomplished a microcosm of separation, dissolving into absolute oneness.
So that's the idea that the stones are like the letter. I love using this graphic. For those who've been watching in several of my videos recently, you see the same graphic. It just took a lot of time to put together, and I'm proud of it. And I enjoy using it. It was like 5 paragraphs of a prompt. Anyway, the letters, that they dissolve into the oneness. You see here that you're one step closer to that oneness. You're really seeing everything's information and code, and the material is not really there. It's like a veil. So this was inspired by the Matrix, of course. This is the idea why I use this visual here to talk about the stones as they started to merge, to realize there's just one true unity. They should not be quarreling.
Yet, this raises a paradox. How can the same force that creates our ego also be the key to dissolving it?
So there's the question. There it is. Get the question? Rewind if you didn't understand. It's very deep.
Before we continue, remember to sign up for my free newsletter so you do not miss the exclusive preview of my upcoming Torah and Science book. The link is in the pinned comment under the subscribe button.
I also send out the weekly Devar Torahs there. So that way, because a lot of times most people, even if you're subscribed, YouTube likes to send out to different people, because I think the algorithm doesn't want people to feel like getting the same stuff all the time. So this way you won't miss it.
To create a Bose-Einstein condensate, scientists must freeze atoms near absolute zero.
So this is obviously just a representation from AI about shining lasers on certain atoms to cool them down, because as the atoms jitter, if you hit them with light at the same frequency as they're resonating, you'll impart energy to slow them down, but only at certain frequencies. So if you make the frequency slightly lower, as soon as it moves towards it, it'll get a little blue shifted, and then it'll see the frequency and it'll impart it because light has momentum. Photons have momentum, so it'll slow down the particles.
For quantum effects to become prominent on a macro scale, Jacob achieved fusion while heading to Haran, a place of displacement and spiritual heat. The secret? Spiritual temperature functions inversely to physical temperature.
The Hayom doesn't exactly say that, but it's the whole idea that an advantage or a mila in the spiritual could be a disadvantage in the physical. So the fact that the two are connected but sort of opposite. That's why I quoted the Hayom. If you find a better source, let me know. Leave a comment.
While physical coldness enables quantum coherence, spiritual heat, like the passion for a mitzvah or intention during prayer, creates fusion.
So the physical cold creates a fusion, or spiritual heat creates the fusion. You get? Okay.
This allows you to shift from the world of separation to the world of unity, from particles domaining their own quantum states to unified consciousness recognizing its source. Yet, one question remains. Why does achieving this fusion first require separation?
Similar to the question before. Why do you have to separate in order to come together? Lots of paradoxes the deeper you go into Hasidus and Kabbalah.
Quantum exclusion operating within the Bose-Einstein reality expresses the transcendent unity of God. Like Jacob's stones that surrendered their individual demands, when you perform an act of kindness with another Jew, you're not just shifting separated particles into a unified field of holiness, you're also saving a life. Researchers found isolation increases premature death risk by 32%.
So this is me connecting it back. I like to connect my Devarators from just something abstract to something you can take away. Not just the life lesson, but what you can do, bepoil, what can actually do in order to help affect the change that we're discussing from before.
Only a physical mitzvah can dissolve this illusion of separation, preparing global consciousness for the messianic era when all of creation will recognize itself as one.
The first try, anytime AI, even if you say Jewish, Orthodox Jewish woman, it puts a kippah on them. I don't know why. So to say no kippah, put a tichel. And then this, I don't know why it did that at the top, like a greenhouse, but it was the end of the video, and I'm sorry. And it just, sometimes it gets iffy, like, oh, is this political? Because it's the Temple Mount. So the fact that it even made it for me without pushing back, it's like, all right, I'll take it. If you're already this far in, both to the video and to this commentary, you're clearly like one of my super fans. Thank you. I really, really appreciate it. I would love to hear from you. I hear there's a bunch of you, and I hear it from outside, but they don't leave comments. People tell me, oh, people love your videos, blah, 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 and they watch it. I said, so tell them I want to hear from them. I want to hear from you. So talk to me. Sign up for the newsletter, leave a comment. You read how I respond to other comments. I'm usually pretty nice. Anyone has questions, I want to assume that you're coming from a good place. Sometimes people are straight up anti-Semitic, and I block them. I try not to block. I'm on TikTok and Instagram also. I block way more on TikTok, some on Instagram, and a few here as well. But if someone's espousing a different view or they have a question they want to know, I'm more than happy to have a conversation.
To learn other novel insights connecting science with the Parsha, click here for the full playlist.
So it's not here because I'm doing that, but I have a few more main playlists on my channel page. Go check them out. The Shattering the Science versus Religion illusion, the commentaries like this, the regular Devarators, and then Israel and politics. And not as many people click on that, and have some on economics as well. So whatever floats your boat, enjoy, share. Very useful. It helps me out. Thank you so much. Click over here or here. Whatever's popping up, you'll explore more. Have a great day.